maybe some people should just give up. And I want to talk about it and like see what is he even talking about. I actually haven't seen this video yet, and figured I would talk about it because like this is something that I it sounds like he's very frustrated. It sounds like he's crashing out in this video, fully justified crash out. And I've also crashed out. I crashed out on several occasions having to do like Leetcode videos, showing people how to do it. After solving like 1,000 Leetcode problems and then like getting like a software engineering job and like making videos, like showing people, here's how you do it, here's how you do it, here's how you do it. It's become very, very apparent to me that like programmers are just super lazy. And I said this 3 months ago because it was super annoying. And I'm gonna guess, haven't seen the video, I'm gonna guess that Neetcode probably thinks the exact same thing because it's just like so blatant and so obvious. And like you'll see people and they'll post videos like this, a Cook CS grad's, computer science grad's perspective. And like the summary of the video is, oh man, well, I applied to 5 jobs and I've coded up to-do list. That's my only project. And I just don't understand. I should have a job paying me $80,000 a year. But now I have to live with my parents, right? And like that's it. It's like, okay, this is like cooked. It's like you just don't work. Same thing with Coding Jesus. I love his videos too, by the way. He does really, really good ones because he actually just interviews people. He's like, oh, so like, what is a for loop? And the people can't answer. Or what's an array? And they can't answer. What's a linked list versus an array? I mean, anyways, so this is just my rant, but just my pre-rant that I'm biased because I'm in this space and I'm hearing a lot of this stuff. And let's see what Neetcode has to say. Maybe his things is nicer. Yeah, I just heard him say this is not going to be a nice video. I think he's going to be ranting. So
I also want to say that, of course, we all know that the current job market for anybody in tech is pretty difficult.
so I don't want to watch this. I want to watch this. I can't watch this. I got to watch it in 2 times speed.
Especially if you're
This is a long one. 25 minutes is long. Okay.
level, so I'm definitely not denying that. But with that said, there's been some things that have added up over the last week or last few months, and maybe even last few years, that have really kind of just probably triggered me a bit. You guys know I love you guys, but I think there's some times where you just have to be honest, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be honest. Maybe you disagree with everything I'm going to say. So I'm going to start with talking about Leetcode like I usually do, but there's a few layers to what I'm talking about. So I've been making Leetcode videos for almost like 6 years now, and when I look back on that, sometimes I think to myself, even though the videos helped a lot of people, in some ways I kind of did just raise the bar for the interview because now it's like easier to prepare, and I kind of raises the bar, so now people get asked harder questions. But the reason I always thought that I was still doing
I think like so what Neetcode does is he raised the bar for the interview, but he just made it more, I want to say more, it's not equitable, right? I think it's just like more equal to where like it used to be the case that because there was no YouTube videos and there were no good ones, it was like more about the person who could pass the interview was the person who like had connections, who said, hey man, have you heard of this site called Leetcode? Like it was like kind of whispers, it feels like, to where like you just kind of had to be in the know. You had to either be on Blind or on Reddit, and you had to know what books to buy. So like, the book companies I think were profiting. So it was like, oh, buy this book, study this book, and all of that. And what Nico did is he just kind of like just set it to where like literally anyone has access. Like you don't need to buy a book, you don't need to have connections or anything like that. Like everyone just has the knowledge. And so then it's just about like the work you put in. So I think with the information, like, yeah, the interviews are going to be harder, but I think that everyone just like benefits. Like the world as a whole should just get better at algorithms because of what Nico decided to do in his potential basement, sitting in his basement doing Leetcode problems while he was unemployed. So shout out Neetcode. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Was because in my videos, I don't really focus too much on just the algorithm that you're probably never going to end up using in your life. I really always try to focus on the thought process. Like, how do you arrive at a solution? Like, what kind of mathematical thinking methods can you use, like proof by contradiction, going through different discrete cases and using counterexamples and things like that? Because when you know those techniques and you really, really know them, you realize that they can actually be applied in so many places. And I think that's one of the reasons that even though I would not consider myself a very talented developer, I think that's one of the main reasons I did pretty well while I was working at Google. Because everybody kind of starts off on the same level. You have to go through the same learning curve because there's a lot of internal tools and things like that. Had I started at a company that many people would consider to be easier or less prestigious than Google, maybe I would have actually done worse in that environment. But more recently, when it comes to my videos, and just maybe it's the younger generation, or maybe it's just everybody, maybe it's TikTok brain, I really don't know, but I'm starting to feel like it's actually not having the effect that I always thought it was, or that I wanted it to. And I want to kind of tell you why I think that. So this video I made like 2 days ago. It was going over Leetcode easy. And in the video I said that if you're good at Leetcode, solving an easy problem like this probably isn't worth your time. In my opinion, that's kind of just common sense. So you should probably be practicing more difficult problems. On the other side, if you're not so good at Leetcode, you shouldn't be practicing the daily Leetcode problems because they're always a random difficulty, and you're going to inevitably see problems that you have no business even attempting yet. So I kind of spoke about
This is true. Doing Leetcode daily is not actually that good because they have really, really easy ones and then really, really hard ones. I don't know why they don't just fix it to have like a kind of a set standard or something. Like maybe it just gets progressively harder. But this idea, like Leetcode daily, it's such a nice idea because you get a streak going, but it's also breaks the streak because they put in really, really hard ones. I don't know why they do that, but I think it kills. And it's not going to actually help you. I like it for the streak though. I like having like a little number up here, a little fire.
why I think that's not like the best strategy. I got a comment, and it was the most highly rated comment, and they said, no, I like these videos because I'm not actively trying to grind Leetcode, but seeing your videos pop up on my feed make me check them and watch Leetcode stuff for entertainment, which is nice. So keep these videos coming. I like them, and I think many other folks do as well. So it was very nice to me, so I'm not gonna...
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, if you just want to just do entertainment, then yeah, to keep it for entertainment. You're just not learning, but just make sure that's very clear. You're not going to be learning doing easy problems. You're just entertained.
I'm not going to go too hard, but that might be one of the worst arguments that I've ever heard, because even if you're just watching Leetcode for entertainment, which I hate to break it to people, but you're probably not learning as much as you think. There's a reason why it's easy to watch a video, because nothing's actually going into your brain.
No, I think it's fine, actually. I think it's fine if you want to watch videos for entertainment, you want to be entertained, go and be entertained. Like, just have fun, I guess. I mean, if you just, like, if you want to get a job, these are two different things, but just make sure you distinguish the path. Do you want to get a job, or do you want to have fun? You know, if you just want to casually, like, whatever, I mean, it's up to you.
And second of all,
these questions are not good for practice unless you have no idea what you're doing.
If you really like me and you like my videos, well, thank you. But I've made over 800 of them, guys. And I'm not even trying to plug too hard, because if you don't want to search for them on YouTube, if you don't want to search for Neetcode on YouTube, you can go to my site, Neetcode All. There's over 800 videos that I've made to Leetcode problems. So if that's not enough, it's never going to be enough. Because if you can go through 800 of them, well, either at that point, you should probably take the training wheels off and not rely on video solutions anymore. And I'm telling you that because even though I make videos, I'm telling you at some point, you don't need to rely on videos anymore. And so if 800 problems isn't...
At some point, you don't need to rely on videos? That's actually, that's also not true. That's not true at all. I've solved over 1,300. I still need videos. 1,000%. Like, the idea, like the videos are always just better. Like, it's just better. It's just like way more expressive. Like, imagine you have to go here, click through the little thing, go here, and then you got to go to the solution. Imagine you have this, right? And you this is like a 30-second TikTok, like, little video. Like, it's not that much. And reading through all this, like, it kind of, like, the harder problem that you do, you still need to watch the video. You still not got to understand something. Like, there's a reason why the top tier competitive programmers, there's a reason why, like, they pay for coaching, why if you look at, like, the people who are beyond Neetcode, who are like leagues, like, who are, like, 12-year-old, like, mathematical geniuses, yeah, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but, like, there's a reason why, like, if you look at their advice, if you were to go into Richto's thing, he describes very, very complicated problems. It took him 15 years to get to where he is. And he helps people who are, like, 10-year mark, 5-year mark, or whatever. But anyways, you will always need videos. Now, that said, the problems that Neetcode goes over, like, these are just interview problems. So I don't know. I mean, I think I think he might be missing the point of what this comment is saying. Like, it's all he's saying. I guess Neetcode might be angry that he still has to make videos, I guess. I don't know.
You don't need videos at that point, or hopefully you shouldn't. Like, you guys know there was a time where there weren't Leetcode videos, or the ones that did exist, they were pretty bad. How do you think people like me and other people, some smarter than me, some less smarter than me, how do you think we did it, guys? There used to be a day where...
But you just talk to people. Like, that's how you did it. You would talk to another person, and they would show you the problem, or they would post on a forum, they would post on Reddit, and you would just read what they said. But with the video, you can just watch videos too, like YouTube, right? And, like, the world is better with YouTube.
where ChatGPT also didn't exist. People did get through that. So, and I also want to recognize that, it is kind of easy when a video just pops up in your feed. Yeah, you don't have to search for it. But if that's the hurdle, that's why you want me to keep making videos and take time out of my day to make those videos. Well, I don't really feel like I'm having much of an impact. I really don't. I feel like I'm just making it easier for people to be lazy, which is fine, I guess. But okay.
Yeah, I think actually, I thought this video was going to be with programmers being lazy, like actually being lazy. But like, this isn't that even that late. Like, it's just like, this guy doesn't care. He's not grinding. Like, he just, like, there's always going to be subsections of people who aren't trying to grind and get better. They just want to sit back and chill, like always, regardless of whatever. Like, it could be basketball, it could be soccer, it could be dancing, like whatever. Like, there's always people they just chill. Like, there's competitive Fortnite players, and then there's like the guys who just want to hang out and just hang out. Like they like you just as a person, so they just want to hear your voice. They want to see what you're doing. And this gets into they just want to see like just vibe, like just positive vibe, just watching a guy like just solve some math, just doing some math problems, doing some algorithms. Not like nothing aside. Like, they're not there to learn, they're just there for you. Like, and I don't think Neetcode realizes that he is kind of like a personality, which is why people will watch him, listen to him, and things like that. I wonder if he'll end up deleting this too. I don't know, actually. I think he's like this is like definitely super, super harsh to attack this person.
Okay, but this is just one comment, not a big deal. And, I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy teaching people how to think about these problems. I made another video today on this beautiful Saturday night, and I got another comment that just, I just couldn't take it, okay? I just could not take this comment. So I'll give you the background a little bit. I won't go too much into the math, too much into the Leetcode explanation. If you guys care, you can watch the video. But basically, I was explaining why this solution was greedy and why you do certain math operations, given that the remainder of the total number could be either 1 or 2. And so very, very simple math, right? We're just dealing with 1s and 2s. So elementary school math. And I didn't go quite as deep into the explanation as I could have. There were a couple things that I maybe took for granted that to me felt a little bit like common sense and probably to most people did. But somebody did point it out, and I thought it was a reasonable question. So the question was somewhere here. Somebody didn't understand something. Okay, fair enough. Maybe I could have explained it better. Sure. But there was this comment that just was a little bit too much to me. So this person asked, we did not consider the sum of 3 numbers having a remainder of 1. And he did not discuss this as well. Why did he assume that? Why is it not possible to have 3 numbers having a remainder of 1 and that sum being smaller than...
What? We did not consider the sum of 3 numbers having a remainder of 1, and he did not discuss this as well. Why did he assume that? Why is it not possible to have 3 numbers having remainder 1? And that sum being smaller than 1 number having remainder 1? Bro, I read this. I've done this. I've tried doing this problem. I don't even understand what this guy's saying, or this person. Or sum of 2 numbers having remainder 1. What? I don't know what you're asking.
Some kind of argument. This would happen to me a lot in math class. It would seem common sense, but I would always think a little bit deeper. Like, why is that the case? What's the counterexample? What's the proof? Or at least what's the intuition of the proof? So the fact that somebody had this question is actually a good thing. But the fact that they took the 1 minute or so that it takes to type this question, rather than just grabbing a piece of pen and paper and just doing the math themselves, I just can't take that. Something is wrong. And maybe it was always wrong. Maybe people have always been like this, but honestly, I've started to notice this in recent years much more. I don't know if it's ChatGPT or if it's grade inflation in schools, which has been going on for a long time now, but there's a reason why nobody values college degrees anymore. Because back in the day, and probably before I was born, people who got college degrees, they were a lot smarter, or at least a higher percentage of them were a lot smarter than the people.
Yeah, this is definitely the case that there are too many CS grads. Too many people saw the TikToks. They saw like the day in the life of a software engineer. I work at Netflix, Google. I don't do anything. And too many people saw that and they were like, I'm going to do CS. And they are so lazy. They don't care about the code. They don't care about learning all this stuff. They don't care about any of it. They came for the fat paychecks. And it's very, very obvious that they do not care at all. And I think that's true. So yeah, a lot of these people need to get out, leave. I can't. I will be so happy when all these people leave, get out and realize that this thing is actually harder than they realize. It's not just free money and they can go to McDonald's.
Well, today, it's just a fact. You can Google it. You can ChatGPT it. Grade inflation is a thing. Degrees are, in many cases, meaningless. And so I'm going to show you what this person...
I don't believe in that either. But
could have done. The math that this person could have done within 60 seconds. That would have showed them why they don't need to type out this question. And so the fact that people aren't doing this, the fact that people are so lazy, so, I excuse people, not everybody, intelligence is a real thing. Some people are a little bit smarter than others. Some people have aptitudes for certain things. That's a real thing, okay? But you can't be dumb and lazy. You just can't afford to do that, okay? And don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of difficult experiences. I've never had a single mentor, a person in my life to guide me through what I should do, how I should do it, and things like that. So maybe I don't have as much sympathy as I should for other people, but you just can't be this lazy. You just can't. Because if I have to hold your hand every little step of the way, I'm not helping you guys. I'm really not. I can act like I'm helping you guys. I can act like I'm your savior, but I'm not helping you. And I've been very lucky over the last few years that I've been able to give back to many people through money, through donations, and even more importantly, through my time. And it's a very different feeling to teach somebody how to fish rather than just give them a fish. It's a completely different thing, and it's much more impactful. So that's what I would always prefer to do. I'd rather create systemic changes.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I think he'll help. Like, this is just the problem. I mean, he's just doing solutions. So there's people out there who are always going to want the easy solution. They don't want to have to think, like, I mean, you're never going to get rid of these people. But I see what he's saying. I think he's saying that there's just more of them, and that he's very annoyed that there's more of them. I don't know, but I mean, it'll kind of always. This is why. So I don't make Leetcode. I actually tell you guys like how I think you should study, and Neetcode doesn't really do that. But like, I mean, it should just be like you try to solve the problem for 20, 30 minutes, and then like you try to work through all these ideas in your head. Or then you come back to the solution and try to work through it. But and you just get better. I mean, I hate this. This would trigger me if I had to read this. Try to think of it for yourself. If I ask a question, someone says, try to think of it for yourself. This triggers me so much. And I think Neetcode was angry when he typed it too. But yeah, I guess this is where you can see people being frustrated, but this would annoy me.
So I'm going to walk you through the explanation, even though I know nobody cares. I'm going to do it anyway because I care. Okay, actually, before I do the explanation really quickly, I want to go through my other couple anecdotes. So I saw this post on Reddit and it got removed by the moderators for some reason. But basically, this guy was just asking for people who are struggling to get CS jobs, have you considered becoming an actuary? Which their job is like very math and statistics focused. I don't really know a ton about it, but he was making the argument because actuaries have a really low rate of unemployment right now. And so for the people that just got into CS because they just wanted a job,
this is 1000% true. People of CS, career questions, I don't know, CSMajors, whatever, the college, they just doomer pilled. It is like so crazy, like where it's just like nothing works, you should just give up, and it's like this is actually how they sound. It is so stupid. So true. And you can't do anything for these people. You can't tell them anything. You can't, unless you sit down with them every single day and you just try to work through all their problems or whatever. Like, that's really it. Maybe once a week, but even then, like, they probably wouldn't even show up. They would rather just give up.
Of people that are just like, I don't know how to describe it, but, and I know a lot of people from this generation, by the way, so I'm not trying to be a boomer and just, say that this new generation is cooked, because I know some insanely smart, hardworking, and passionate people that are very, very young, college age, or they just graduated, and they're way smarter than I am. So it's not like they don't exist, but the average has really come down. I see these people say, well, that's just a really hard field to get into, and CS is popular because it's easier, even though everybody's complaining about how hard it is to get a CS job, which is fair, right? There's a lot of competition, and it's really hard, even if you are really good, it's hard to prove that nowadays because the funnel is just so damn big, because there's a lot of, in my opinion, people that have no business even applying for jobs that are diluting that job pool. It's very unfortunate, but there's people that are complaining about the fact that you have to take an exam to be an actuary, to get your license. So you have to prove that you
This is the same thing you have to do when you try to do computer science. You have to take an exam. You have to do Leetcode. It's it's the same, like you do CS, you get the degree, and then you have to take an exam. What do you think yes, it's not an exam on paper. You have to talk to another human. There's still a knowledge check. What's the point of an exam? It's to test your knowledge. What's the point of doing the interview? It's to test your knowledge. There's no way out of that. You will always have that in life where nobody's just life is not, I walk in, I'm a good programmer. Oh, you are? Here, take a job, 100K. How's that sound? Sounds okay. And then I'll accept it. That's not what life is. It's like, let me test your knowledge. You always have to do that. And fail exam once or twice, I mean, I don't know, but and passing depends on passing exam. I don't think it's that hard, man. Like, bro, just study.
That you actually know what you're doing. The way they kind of describe it is you have to be okay spending the next 5 to 10 years of your post-college life studying. Oh, God forbid you have to study for an exam to actually prove you know what you're doing.
I know, crazy. Oh my, so crazy. This is why I hate everybody just complains about Leetcode. They're like, well, I can't do Leetcode. Leetcode's so stupid. Leetcode's so stupid. It's like, bro, it's literally the same as an exam. You study useless stuff that you don't actually use. When do you guys have to get the surface area of a cone? When do we ever have to do a derivative? Why do we learn any of this stuff in college? And you guys will slop it up. Oh my God, I just love this exam. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then when you go into the real world, and you're like, oh, so people don't just believe me when I say that like this is what I know. I have to take an exam. They're gonna test my knowledge on something that I have to study. It's, I this is so triggering. Um, I mean, the disgust on Neetcode's face. It is the same as mine because like you take someone who's like pretty high achieving. You take someone who's like grinded, who's worked really hard at something, who like understands like, okay, you go here, you do this, you do this. Even like taking like my 2024, it's like people aren't even 5%. Like the average, like these people that he's talking about, these like little Redditors, anonymous college student Redditors, they are not 5% of this. They have not done 5%. They have not done maybe 1% of like these 1,300 problems. And they think that they know like so much on how life should be. And the life for them, it should always be about them. It's only focused on them. They will only help themselves, and they will only like focus on. They won't help their friends. They won't like code projects for their family. They won't like study for exams because oh my god, you have to show yourself, you have to prove yourself to someone else, right? Like it's just so stupid. Anyways, I've already talked about this too before. I think again in this video, this is why I don't.
And I'm not saying it's easy to be an actuary, but like this whole attitude of people that are complaining about CS and tech jobs, but also saying, well, the alternatives are just so hard. I mean, what kind of bubble are we living in, guys? Like, this is the real world. Like, every job that exists, there's people doing it and doing it full time. And, you know, once in a while, you do have to recognize your privilege. I like to believe I worked hard to get to where I am, but at the same time, like, the amount of money that I was paid at Google was disproportionately higher than how hard I had to work to get into Google and how hard I had to work at Google. You just have to recognize the facts. Like, you have to recognize how lucky you are sometimes.
True. The work I have to do to get a job at Walmart was like this, and this was way easier than the work I do at Walmart. Like the work I do at Walmart is way easier than this. Was with doing this for sure, 1,000%.
And I also saw this tweet from Jonathan Blow, and Jonathan Blow is kind of an interesting guy. He can be kind of a dick sometimes, and he's kind of elitist.
I like Jonathan Blow. I mean, he's outspoken. He'll give you some hot, spicy takes.
He has some flaws, but he's not always wrong. He's very smart, and he's not always wrong. And he was responding to a comment where, like, people have this sort of expectation that companies have an obligation to hire entry-level people and then train them and hold their hand through every step of the way. And that's kind of what he says. So, like, his quote is, people have this weird entitled attitude. I don't know anything about games or programming or whatever. I expect a company to hire me and train me up. No, that person needs to cover most of the distance himself before he's in the territory where the company even can train him.
True. You should not get into a job and be so incompetent. And you expect them to pay you $100,000 to teach you, to have the privilege to teach you GitHub, to teach you how to write a to-do list, to teach you how to learn what like an operating system is. That is stupid. Like I don't in what reality do you get paid money? 80,000, 70,000, 50,000 to just like be taught. Like someone just holds your hand and like, well, here's the thing that you're gonna do today, and like, oh, you don't understand that, like let me show you it. It's like this is just so stupid. It is so stupid. And even if I make this video, there's still 10,000, 50,000 r/. If I posted this take on CS career questions, I know that people, well, you just don't understand. The market's just so impossible. And like, well, you just don't understand. It's like, well, we're not saying that. It's like, bro, but like all their actions, it's like, it's so obvious. If you're a teacher in tech, if you're Neetcode, if you are like whatever, if you actually have to sit down and talk to these people, it's like, bro, you're lazy. I see why you're unemployed. I see what's happening. You just don't want to do anything. I got you. It was so eye-opening for me. And this is why I was just like, bro, I need to stop. I need to get out. I need to stop doing this. I need to not be around these people. Like it is just so disgusting. Like just the revulsion I think that Neetcode had, and I think in that face setting here is like that is my act of revulsion. It's like you people are someone who I never, ever want to be like 5 feet away from. If doing 70 Leetcode problems is such a difficult thing. Like, but I'm getting a little bit triggered. But like the real thing is like you just need a therapist, bro. You need to talk to someone. Like you need to figure out why this is the case, and like why does everybody owe you everything in life?
A lot of people nowadays. And of course, training has always been a significant thing, and probably even more so back in the day, where colleges were even less like relevant and there were even less resources online for like learning practical programming that you're gonna use on the job and stuff like that. But this attitude that like every little explanation, everything that you don't understand has to be spoon-fed right to you is a huge problem. And it wasn't always like that. Even just 5 years ago, I've noticed that there's been a dramatic shift in attitude. So I had like a really long tweet about it where I agreed. I'll just kind of quickly.
Yeah, and I think it's just newbies coming in. They want to get rich quick. Just get rich quick, people.
quickly go through this. I basically agreed that his take was blunt but true. I think most, but not all people trying to get an entry-level role have a lot of misconceptions of what they're even trying to accomplish. Most really don't want to take the initiative. They might not like coding or they even hate it, which is fine. Like, you don't have to love coding to do this job, but you have to at least take the initiative. And a lot of people, they learn how to do random YouTube tutorial apps and try to check as many boxes on their resume as they can. They want somebody to tell them exactly what to do, exactly what to build. They have no original.
Yeah, and this is another problem with the people who are trying to get jobs in computer science. Like, what they think is that it's like a little pill that you take, or that like someone just teaches you like in with a 10-second TikTok, and then you have access to 100K a year. When the reality is that like you need to learn like the actual concepts, and like actually like you have to kind of enjoy it. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what you either have to enjoy it, or you need to really, really dig deep and push yourself.
Original thoughts of their own. They assume that's what being a developer is. They think once they get the job, somebody's just going to tell them everything. Oh, you don't know something? Somebody's just going to train you up. There's no point where you're going to have to do something. There's no point where you're going to hit a roadblock, not know what to do, and then still have to figure out a solution. That's never going to happen. And so, like, they have this conception that they just need to be trained or go through the perfect training, like university or a certification or a DSA sheet, and then everything's going to take care of itself. And I'm not saying those things are not useful or even not necessary sometimes, but it's not like the entire solution.
Go off, king, my king, Neetcode. Thank you for making this video.
In my conclusion, maybe it's a little bit corny, but I said learning things yourself is less about the things that you actually learn, but more about the person.
The people who need to watch this, they're not going to be able to sit through. I don't think they're not going to be able to sit through a video like this.
That you become. That's what college was supposed to be. College was supposed to be a place where you have to figure out your own solution.
I can't believe he uploaded this 2 hours ago. Man, it's up early. It's like 4 a.m.
You can't just chat GPT everything and whatnot. And that is clearly, over the last few years, has clearly failed. People are not learning how to learn anymore. They're learning how to watch YouTube videos and chat GPT things. And they're not even chat GPTing correctly. Like, you can use chat GPT in a way where it'll teach you, but they're not doing that in many cases. And so why would anybody want to hire somebody like that? I wouldn't want to hire somebody like that, especially in today's age. Like, they're not going to help the team. They're going to slow down the team so much. You have to understand that when you're an entry-level person, you don't want to slow down everybody else. You don't want to have to go ask for everybody's opinion or ask a million questions. Okay, I think I'm done with that. Now let me just go through the rest of the explanation that I was talking about. So just to give the context of what I was even explaining in the video, I mentioned what I'm about to tell you in the video, and then I'll answer that person's question in less than 60 seconds. So you have some total number. So let's call it X. If you mod it by 3, there's 3 different cases. Either the remainder could be 0, 1, or 2. We don't care about the first case, but looking at the other 2 cases, if it has a remainder of 1 or a remainder of 2, we want to remove that remainder of 1 or that remainder of 2. And so this is what I basically said in the video. I said, if we're trying to remove a remainder of 1, one possibility would be to take the smallest number that we have, which has a remainder of 1. So let's say we just have all those numbers. We want to take the smallest of those and remove that, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to maximize this number and also make it divisible by 3. Okay, so it's kind of common sense, right? If you want to maximize the number, you'll remove the smallest number from it to make it divisible by 3 to get rid of the remainder. Okay, so that makes sense. And if you want to get rid of the remainder of 2, you would take the smallest number with a remainder of 2 and remove that. Okay, so that makes sense. And then this is also what I said in the video. I said, but there's a case where, let's use like a concrete example. Let's say this first array looks something like this. Maybe we have a 7, which has a remainder, when you mod it by 3, has a remainder of 1. And then maybe we have some other numbers, let's say 10, 13, whatever. But the numbers with a remainder of 2, maybe the first one is just 2, that has a remainder of 2. And maybe the second one is also 2. So what I said is, okay, if we're trying to get rid of this 1, either we're going to take the smallest number.
I think we're good here. I don't need to watch this. I don't need to watch this thing. I feel like he might end up taking this video down. Neetcode really doesn't like. I don't think he likes
of this 1, either
doing stuff like this. I like
of 1, or we're going to take the 2 smallest numbers with a remainder of 2, because when you add those up, 2 plus 2, you're going to get 4. And this person did a similar solution, and somebody left a comment saying that the guy's original explanation, none of the original numbers fulfill the above criteria. So I guess you meant something else in your explanation. So this person who had a correct solution explained it wrong. That's what things were like 5 or 6 years ago, and still, it's still enough to understand if you put in a little bit of effort, and that's what nobody does anymore. And so now I have to ask myself, did I ever even teach anybody how to fish? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just gave a bunch of people fishes, and when they run out of those...
I think he's getting a little doomer pilled. A little doomer pilled here. Now it sounds like he's saying that, like, oh, well, did I even do anything good, or did I just teach people how to, hold your hands, or how to get their hands held? And I mean, I think it's fine. Like, I mean, I don't, like, again, there's always going to be a percentage of the people who do or don't try to do, the thing, like, who do try to handhold. Like, I think the percentage, but as a society as a whole, I think we certainly are more narcissistic, more self-involved, more like wanting things only for ourselves and not doing things for other people. And I think that's the opposite of what Neetcode goes for. Like, Neetcode he makes videos for you guys. He does a lot of stuff. And so obviously he's also learned it all himself too. So anyways, thanks for watching. And if you guys want to check out my other videos, feel free. I got like a couple where I've like done 1,000 problems, gone over solutions and things. I don't know, whatever. You'll see them on the thing. I would recommend checking them out. And I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.